Hey, thank you for
Mm.
joining this fluent regular expression project. We just had I just had the recording. This is a session where we bring people from all over the world. People who can share their two
Yeah,
cents into any project and basically build nice libraries together.
yeah.
After building 9 NuGet packages, I thought to myself, maybe it's a little bit more fun to do it with people, right? So I started kind
Yeah.
of
Mm.
inviting people in and bringing people in. Here's Ricardo, Ricky, what's up?
Hey,
This is Mabruk. Mabruk, where are you from, brother?
Germany.
Germany. Okay. Ich heiße Hassan. Ich komme von Ägypten. Is this right? Did I say the
Das
right
ist
stuff?
richtig. Das ist
Okay.
richtig. Also ich komme aus Tunesien, aber
Oh,
ich
you're
wohne
oh you're
in, ja,
Tunisian.
ja,
What do
exakt.
people
Mein,
say? Hold on. What do people say in Tunisia? شنحوالك لاباس لا تروح تريح
Lebas.
نباشة القبور. Is that right?
This is right too. Lebas, Lebas.
I'm sorry, Ricky. That just went completely no bueno. No habla Tunisia, amigo.
No hay problema.
This is
I
awesome.
love this brother. I love this brother. So
Oh
what?
my God.
I'm just trying to remember. Bahi. أخوي أنت باهي
Bahiyat.
أخوي. باهي باهي.
Hatunta
So Ricky, bahi is means like good, like in
Good,
fair,
yeah.
fair
Yeah.
shape, fair square.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. Since we have everybody here, I think Elbic fell asleep. I don't know what happened. It's a little bit tough for him because this time is around I think 7 in the morning for him, and that's like
Mhm.
he just prayed, he just ate food, and now he's
Mm.
starting to, just fasting is just kind of slowing. I can see in my productivity kind of pull requests. I'm just going like woo like that, but the morale is always higher, and I'm really happy
Yeah.
about that. So here's where we stopped. Ricky, do you remember what we were talking about? We basically talked about being able to generate an exception, right? An exception, that we see how our service is going to handle it. So if you have any functions, just Mabruk says, I'm gonna try to explain this to you, brother, so you know the problem that we're trying to solve. So
Yeah.
let's say the function that we're dealing with, let's go here. And this is for everybody watching us because this is an open question, right? Let's see if we can solve it together. Maybe we can find the solution. We'll see. So let's say you have
Mhm.
this function in here. Wow, I just started writing in JavaScript. That's bad. That's just a bad luck right there. So let's just say you have a function like this called foo, right? And the function in our case does something really simple, like return a string that's called foo, just like that, right? And this is a real case, a real scenario, because we have functions that turn a fluent expression into a regular expression. So when you go and
Yeah.
say, any value between like this, and you go and say from 1 to 9, it will translate that into something like this in regular expression, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is the problem? The problem is anything could happen in this particular statement. Memory leakage, something could happen, whatever that thing may be. And we want to be able to mock a situation where that exception happens and how our service is going to react to it. Now, who has an answer to this question today is Telerik. Telerik goes and says, I'm going to provide you with a library called Easy Mock, but you have to pay for it. We have engineers from all over the world. I can't go up to someone, let's say in Indonesia, and tell them, hey, pay $400 to get a library. It's not going to happen, right?
No.
Even I wouldn't do it, right? Because I want software to be open and free for everybody, right? So here's a suggestion that I have. And let's see if you guys would entertain this suggestion. Mabruk, are you familiar with this try catch pattern that I do in my software? I go and do this, right?
Yeah.
You've seen this, right? And
I
then
like
inside,
this.
it's magic, right?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
in here, you basically go and do whatever functionality you want to do, right? Like let's say this is foo like this. Here's the thought that I have. If we can access whatever enters this anonymous function in here, we can turn it into something that throws an exception. And
Yeah.
that will be a standard changing
Yeah.
pattern. That will be a pattern that will change all our code. Because today we go and do this dot datetime broker dot setup. And when you call this broker like this, we basically go and say get current time. and then we go and say throws SQL exception like this. And it bothers some people because a time programmer is never going to throw a SQL exception. We're just attaching an event, whatever that event is, instead of having to go through all the validations and stuff. But if we can do it this way, all we need to do is just go and say, here's a func, or sorry, a delegate. So we said delegate, yeah, delegate. And this delegate returns some value task of some kind, let's say T. And this delegate is throwing SQL exception, function. And somehow we need to pass this guy inside this stream in here, inside this area here. And we know we can set up this guy. We can go here and say on call, throwing SQL exception. We can go say on get, throw exception. We can do that. But how do we do it? That's the world-changing stuff. Go ahead,
Yeah.
It'll change everything. It'll make our code 100% cleaner. So our code is already rigid. It's very, rigid. It's very rigorous. There's vigor in the engineering standards that we use to write our code, but this will even make it better. It won't just help with this project with regular expression, fluent regular expression, or easy regular expressions. It'll help across all our projects. But how do we do it, guys? What's the answer? All right, I'm shutting up now. I made my case. I've thought about this. I thought about this a couple of days now since it hit me. The thing about this function is that it's encapsulating and hiding that delegate. So unless we expose that delegate somehow to the outside world, nothing is going to happen. Unless we create an exposure of some kind. I don't want to change how my business logic looks like. And I don't want to change how my code is designed. But this is a brainstorming session. That's the point of these sessions. We sit down and we think together, right? What can we do? This is just how I would solve this problem. It doesn't have to be that solution. There could be any other solution. But this seems very appealing to me. Something speaks to me about this particular solution. So what should we do? Mabruk, see, first day, you're at the test. You have to answer the question. I'm really happy to have you, brother. It's been a very long time. It's been a very long time since someone kind of reached out and pinged me from Tunisia, from the Middle East, from Africa. So here we are. So I'm very happy to see you. I'm very pleased to see you today. Okay. I like Ricardo though, but I like you too. It's not a problem. You haven't made the cookies. With Ricardo on the Ricardo side, the cookies. Ricardo is from Puerto Rico. Him and I have been. It's amazing how the internet just gets you to run into people, and you meet these people and you kind of start forming these good friendships and you start writing code together. This is what I love about the internet, right?
Amazing.
Ricky, what do you think? What should we do?
Well,
Ricky's brain through 500 exception. Go ahead, Ricky.
Well,
I'm listening.
I'm just trying to grasp the idea of how is it that you're going to use a delegate inside of that try catch and mock that? I mean, is it? I guess the question it would be: do we need to mock the delegate or something for this, or how exactly?
You can. Do you remember how in the cul-de-sac, kind of pattern, I went and said I can create a fake function that executes within the function. I can do the same thing.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I want to insert that function in that block because if I did, now I'm handling these exceptions.
I see. Okay.
So you want to do some magic here,
All that I'm doing all day, Mabruk, is magic.
Yeah.
People, so there are people that play soccer, and then there's Cristiano Ronaldo, right?
Exactly.
On paper, he's playing soccer or football, but not the same football.
Yeah.
I
Mo
don't know who's
Salah.
Mo Salah, Muhammad Salah, my
Yeah.
man, my
Yeah.
man. Yeah, and Mani, and I don't know. I stopped watching soccer since I traveled. I used to watch it just because of my brother. So I have a twin brother, and he watches soccer all the time. And I was only watching it because he's watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I have no reason. I just be like, oh, soccer, great, wow.
Me too. I also don't have time for it.
Yeah, it's just a busy time. So let's just play around with this code and see. I want to find a project where we can play around with this concept, right? So if I go down here, so here's a service and it has exceptions. If we make those public, are they accessible to the service itself? So if I go here and say public delegate value task host, right? And this is some a public returning host public function, right? Does that make this guy accessible to the test? Like if I go into, this is what, post service. If I go into some post service, and this is just a test, I know this is outside of the scope of this project. Sorry, it is in the scope of the project, but this is a different project that we're working with. So if I go here and say this dot post service, do I have access to this function? I don't.
You should. You don't?
I don't see it. See? Because it's not a property, or why? Returning, what did I call it? I called it returning something function, right? Because this guy is a type, right? So you don't see that type. But what if I went in there and I did this? Let's try this. Oh, I'm gonna hack it this way.
If you move.
Let's go like this. If I do this, would it find it if I do control period?
I think.
Yeah. So I see it now. That's the type. So we have the type. Now, the question is, and we can mock the type. We can go and say, here is a mock returning post public function. And this is a new mock, and here is your delegate. And I can go here and say mock returning function on get or setup, right? And here's your func, and this is the function like this. When it's being called, then throw exception. See how easy this is? Magic, right? So this type itself, it became something that's mockable. I can go here and say throw new exception just like that. How do we put it in this function, you guys? That's the question, right? How do we do it? That's the tough question, right? What should we do? Da, 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 da. We're not moving just data around here, Mabruk. We're gonna think. We're gonna think hard.
And this is why I'm here.
Best thing in the world, brother.
Yeah.
Easy and simple. If we throw this function inside this block in here, then all our problems are solved. This one block in here. So you see this whole piece in here?
Yeah.
All I have to do is throw that function in there.
And it should be captured.
But the thing is that your try catch is private, right?
It doesn't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
You could pass it. See, I can pass this function from here. Like, look, I can do this. I can go and say, I think I have an idea, and it's very diabolical. But let's see what you guys have to say. So the name like this. You can go here and do this. You can go and say, here, let me show you. I can go like this and say, returning post function.
Well, I mean, in that case, yeah, because you
I can go and pass it in here. Done. I can even go and say, wait, this is an awaitable. There you go. Here's your function. Something like that. To that effect. I can call it. Hold on. Yeah. I need to call it. So wait. I want to actually solve it here. It's important that we get this one running. And this guy takes a post ID, I think. Let's see. This guy is saying that
I think you need the async, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're absolutely right. Yep. My brain is going really fast. So there you go. So this works. However, This guy's mad in here because the parameter type is less accessible because it's not public. This is, I need to use the public one like this, and now all our problems are solved. But I can't do that, Ricardo.
No.
I just can't. You have to understand there's also a couple of things. Having it work alone is not enough. It has to be pretty. It has to be magic.
You've been very specific with that with the last session of what I need.
Yep, like I literally care more about things like, we rewrote everything Joe was doing. We rewrote all of it.
Yeah, that was interesting.
And he was like, I don't understand, it's working. I said to him, it's not pretty though. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then Nick was like, listen, you can only have 2 out of 3. You want it pretty and do you want it accessible? Don't make my life hard, right? But what should we do?
Yeah, as you are doing now.
Here's a trick that we can do, but this trick is still a little hacky, right? You can propose an optional parameter. Let me show you some crazy stuff that I can do here. You can propose an optional parameter here of the same type of that function. Okay, look at Ricky's face. This is what I live for. This is the kind of entertainment I live for.
That's a first.
And what this guy would be doing is that you would go into the service itself and go and say, let me revert everything here. You can literally go here and say, I want to pass in my own optional parameter in here, in this function. But how is that possible? Because this guy now takes an input parameter. Like if I go here and say null, I think, would it allow me to do that? Oh, wait. In here. This guy here, I can go here and add in my own function. Like I can go here and do something, some sort, right? Let's see if it would let me though. No. Async. Did I forget how to write programming? So this guy takes in a parameter of its own. Oh yeah, it's not happy because it's not adhering to the same thing. So now this guy wants a function to be passed in here as a parameter, like this, right? But we can't pass itself to itself, so I'm gonna have to go here and say, here's another function. Watch this. Fx. Let's just call it fx for now, okay? Now let me just visualize things for you. So now this guy is taking 2 parameters. So this parameter is going inside this guy, the returning post function. That basically means I can go up here and I can go and say this. This here is your first parameter, comma, and I can pass another function in here. See, it's requesting the next parameter in here. I can go here and say, okay, here's another one, async, whatever, and I don't know, do something with it, something like that. See? So there's tricks that we can do. We're bending the language, the technology to our will. Like we don't let C# tell us how to think. We tell C# how to think. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
I think I'm still thinking about.
Don't forget to drink some water. It's almost time.
Schluss.
You're already. All right.
It's closed. I don't have. Yeah. It's fine. I still don't understand your goal.
The goal is. Go ahead, Mabruk. Go ahead.
Yeah.
The goal,
I mean.
The goal is to be able, like if this function in here, today we rely on some dependency to pretend an exception has been thrown, right? I want to take all of that out. Like what if your function just returns a string like this? How are you gonna make that throw an exception? Because it can, a surface exception, memory leakage, something would happen. But you don't have a test for it. The idea here is that I can control that core of that function so I can make it through whatever exceptions I have. That's a dream for me. And I'm not stopping until I make it happen. You can take that to the bank, because that will take the standard to the next level, to the next phase. Ricky's like, I'm done with this.
Well, I mean,
Ricky, stop playing with the camera and stay with me. Tell me.
Now I was gonna say, like, having the ability to do that will actually even reduce the amount of setup for the testing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
you're gonna force to throw any exception you want, basically, without having to do this. I'm still
This is
trying
why
to
I like
think,
it too much.
I'm still trying to think on the how, like you were asking again. So it's like, because you can use a delegate as a parameter for that, but I guess and you can make the try catch accessible from the mock, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm kind of lost it here. And since I've been doing research on the whole string thing, and the fact that it's a seal class, it just makes it so hard to actually make it mockable.
That's what makes it exciting to find an answer to it. You see,
Yeah.
when I was solving this try catch problem, the reason why it's so fascinating, because it started exactly this way. It wasn't impossible. How are we going to hide the exceptions? And then it hit me. I was like, okay, heaven have spoken to me, and therefore shall I teach the rest of the world. Here we go. Now you guys need to help me with this. You're my apostles now. You're going to help me out, right?
We're trying.
We'll try as best as we can, but
you are catched.
I mainly wanted to present this idea in this session just to give you a chance. I don't think we're going to solve it on spot, and that's okay. Paul suggested something that's very interesting. He said, make these meetings where you have like a status and maybe play around with some code, and then let people kind of think through what the solution may be. And I'm okay with that. But what's more important to me is that, do you understand the problem? Do you understand what I'm trying to solve here? It's very powerful. At some point in time, we will have the ability to go, let me just blow your minds a little bit. We'll have the ability to go saying fact like this, and then under here, throws exception. And it will inject that exception in whatever execution you're having, to the service. And all you need to do is just define here that it's a SQL exception. You don't have to worry about anything else.
Yeah.
It's beauty, right? Yeah. It's beauty, it's art, right? So I'll tell you this much. If I do everything I really want to do with C#, the difference between my code today and my code where I want it to be will be the difference between some artist writing in Arabic, kind of beautiful art, versus a chicken that has ink in its feet. Chicken on a paper with ink in its feet. That's how I see my code today. And it might look cleaner than others, but it's not enough. You shouldn't settle for it. But we understand the problem, right? Somehow, we need to inject this mocked delegate into this try-catch. But the try-catch itself is private. Do we test the try-catch alone? You lose context.
Yeah.
What function are you testing? This is the equation that we're trying to balance, right? It's more appealing to the humans than just making the machine do what you want. Any clown out there can make code that runs on the machine. But writing code for people, that's a different story. So what are we going to do? Anyway, as long as you understand the problem, would you guys research it? Because I'm going to research it too. Would you be willing to give it a shot and try it out?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do your very best. Our ideal case here would be something like this. If you have a function like this, you have a fact like this, and you have some tests like this. This will take a lot of thinking, because this is innovation. This is not something you're going to find on Stack Overflow. I can tell you that. You're not going to find it on Google. What I want to do is that I want to go and say mock function, right? New mock my func, whatever that func may be. And then in here, when it executes mock function like this, I can go and say set up func throws an exception, just like that. And now I don't have to worry about where the exception is thrown from. Because when I go here and call my service, this is the ideal case. This is where I want to go. This.service, add post async, some new post like this. I know it's going to throw the exception. Because whatever is injected inside this function is not the actual code anymore. It's this guy.
Mm-hmm.
How do we do it? How do we do it?
Yeah, because the trick here is how it would know that this is the function that is executing or invoking inside of the try catch.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
How do we do it? Anyway, if we do, look how simple the test is, Ricky. Look how simple this thing became. This is the difference between this and something like this. Look. Have this and have this, and then you have to attach it to an event.
Yeah.
Like this would go away, and this would go away. Only the two that will be left are these two. That's it. Look how much reduced size this would be. It's beautiful, and it's focused exactly on the portion of code that we're trying to test, which is exception handling. I have an idea for a solution, but I want to hear from you guys, and of course the people watching us. I mean, use the muscle that matters the most, right? We're not really just moving data around. We're doing a little bit more than that. If you understand the problem, raise your hand. Do you understand the problem? Yes? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll connect with you guys on Monday. Is it Monday or Tuesday, Ricky? I think it's Tuesday. Wednesday, Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days. Really, really try to apply yourself. If you do it, I'm going to give you a huge gift, because this is going to help hundreds of thousands of engineers out there. Maybe even millions. Okay? Good?
Yeah.
Thank you all. And for the people watching us, of course, if you have suggestions, drop us suggestions, and don't forget to like and subscribe. How do we say like and subscribe in Arabic, Tunisian, Mabruk? What do we say? لا تنسى لا تنسى
This is فصحى. This is Arabic.
اضغط إعجاب ومشاركة.
لا ما تنساش باش تعمل abonnement. French word. Yeah, because we are using lots of French
that's right.
words.
That's right. Tunisian folks, they speak Tunisian and Algerian and Moroccan. They speak a lot of French. What's good French that I remember? Je t'aime, mon ami. Is that a good thing to say?
Moi aussi, bien sûr.
That's me saying I love you, brother.
I love you.
You are all mine, like
my
something
friend.
like that. Yeah, my friend.
My friend.
Je t'aime, mon ami. Yeah, I love it. I love French.
Yeah,
Ricardo's like, okay, what's happening in here? Why this?
I am here.
Do you know, Mabruk? Do you know how to say "Don't forget to like and subscribe" in French? That would be a hard one.
Ne pas oublier de s'inscrire, de s'abonner,
sure.
Vous abonner.
I love it.
Yeah.
Ricky and I have no idea what you're saying.
Nope.
I never actually asked Ricky about this. Ricky, how do you say it in Spanish?
Sería no te olvides de dar el botón de like y suscribirte al canal.
Gracias.
Oh wow, I love the language. Gracias, amigo. And thank you all. I appreciate you all. You guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Take care. Thank you so much.